You want to make sure that you have that pause as the employer, whether it's a good reaction or a bad reaction on your end, whether you or not you want to give them that raise. Hey there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal set at this video is how to handle it when an employee asks you for a raise. Now if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own outsourcing company here in the Philippines, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, so make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now when it comes to asking for a raise as an employee, I've already made a whole video on that which you guys can check out, but basically it is somewhat a difficult conversation if one has never done it before, and it can be a little bit confusing as an employer because depending on your background, you might know already how it feels for your employee to ask you for a raise. So this video is really going to be kind of just a step-by-step process of what you can do when that moment comes, a system that you can set up for it, how to be able to softly reject someone if you can't give them a raise just yet. Now, the first thing to keep in mind when an employee does ask you for a raise is to just ask them for more information. There's usually a few common reasons of why someone would ask for a raise. One is they might have been working with you for too long and they feel like they have gotten to the point where they deserve a raise. Two is their responsibilities have gotten bigger or higher. So instead of what they were originally hired for, as it usually goes in their employment, they might have gotten more responsibilities. They might be adding more value into the company. Whatever it looks like, they have felt that, hey, I've shifted from what I was hired to do into this bigger thing. I think I need a raise to kind of compensate for that higher responsibilities that I now have. The other common reason why someone would ask for a raise is their life has changed. Their lifestyle has changed for one reason or the other. It's mostly going to be medically. They might have to, something shifted in the way that they need more meds, for example, or more tests. Their standard of living didn't go higher, but one of their bills went higher. So they will usually ask for a raise to help compensate with that. On the other bills that might go higher is just family. They might have had a kid. They might have a sick parent who they have to take care of now. It could be some life shift of why they can't continue living the way that they are at the wage that you've given them, which is why they're asking for that raise. There's a lot of different reasons, but usually it's one of those things. So you want to make sure that you actually ask them and actually really hear them out of why they think they deserve a raise. Next step you want to do is you want to make sure that you think before you react. You want to make sure that you have that pause as the employer, whether it's a good reaction or a bad reaction on your end, whether you or not you want to give them that raise. You want to make sure that you really think it through, that you don't act based on emotion, based on how they approached you, because they might have been a little bit too aggressive or they might have been a little too nervous. So you want to have that pause to make sure that you are deciding rationally. Next is to simply acknowledge your employee. What this means is to say, hey, yes, I got your request. Thank you so much for approaching me or letting me know about this. I will definitely take this into consideration and give me 3 to 5 days to think about it. When you do this, you're again getting yourself that pause in between deciding right away and them requesting, and you're also letting them know and making them feel heard that yes, they did this scary thing of asking for a raise, and now you're going to give yourself some time to be able to decide if they deserve that raise or if they deserve a different rate from what they asked for. Next is then just a little bit of figuring out what to do. So this is where a system on raises really helps. So for example, for us within 2XU, we have a couple of factors that we look at before we give one of our employees a raise. One is the responsibilities that they now have versus when they were first hired. So for example, inside of 2XU, most of our assistants start off with more admin tasks or social media tasks that then evolve into being more inside of the business. This could mean them doing sales, them taking care of their clients, them taking more and more of the business, basically, that they do deserve that raise. The second point is that we check them against our own values inside of the company. So inside of 2XU, we have 5 values, and every month we have a self-assessment for all of our employees to go through to evaluate themselves against those values. If they're not meeting up to a lot of the criteria, then they probably don't deserve that raise yet until they raise that soft skills themselves. And if they do, then that's another addition to the responsibilities and now the values check. The next is we also check how engaged they are inside of our company. If they are someone who has been helping the other assistants, they've been helping each other, they give me suggestions, for example. It doesn't always perfectly work like that, that, but I always check for their engagement. Like, how invested are they beyond just the work that they're doing? Instead of 2XU, since they work one-on-one, they could easily just kind of not really engage with 2XU, but when they choose to engage in 2XU, see a problem, bring in a solution, that for me is a plus sign, like, hey, this person is doing beyond what is asked, and of course will deserve that raise. Another criteria for us is honestly if they're willing to grow with us, if they're willing to grow inside of the company with the client and with 2XU. When we see that, again, it's mostly kind of engagement still, but this is now moving forward. Are they willing to stay? Are they willing to keep working with us, with the agency and the client moving forward? So those are the different criteria that I look out for. It could be different for you and your company. I'm just giving you an example or a template per se of what it can look like for you. Next is, once you have that criteria, then you want to gather as much data as you can. You want to check their hours, maybe you want to check their performance, their output. You want to check against if what they say, what they claim of like, this is why I deserve this raise, is actually true and real. So you want to be able to have that data to be able to move forward further in your decision. Now, if this employee has been kind of a little bit bad or unsatisfactory, then you can have your answer easier. But you actually, again, you want to look at actual data to kind of separate who they might actually be versus who you hear they are. So you can kind of check against by having the right data as you start deciding if they do deserve that raise. Next is, you also want to make sure that you check your own numbers. There is a big difference when it comes to bonuses versus a raise. A bonus is just a one-off expense. A raise is an ongoing expense inside of your company. So you want to make sure that you check your numbers to see if you can actually even afford giving this person a raise. Now, there is a sense of if this person has been bringing in like 2-3 clients a month, then if you give them a raise, they'll be happier, then they'll probably bring in more, so that equals it out. But again, you want to make sure that you check your numbers, that when you give this person a raise, your company will not go bankrupt in a few months. So you want to make sure that you check it against and make sure that you can be stable enough to maintain their raise, because it would really suck if you gave someone a raise 1 month and then 2 months later you had to take it back because the company had to downsize. Next is, after all of that, after you check your numbers, after you check their information, gather data, have a criteria of basically, are you gonna give them a raise or not? If you are deciding to give them a raise, of course, give them the good news right away, but then also tell them what it would take for them to get to the next level. This way you are already setting up the system of what it would be like for them to get the next raise or promotion that they might be after. This way you are setting up also that boundaries and the clarity of what they would need to do to get again to that next level. So set those expectations already so they don't just feel like, hey, I just deserve a raise just because I got it that last time. No, this is now the new setting because you got to this level. And then of course, if they didn't get the raise, then it's kind of like a little bit of the granting the raise part. You let them know what are the different areas that they can give value in, so then they get to the point where they can get the raise. Now, if the problem more is just the funds inside the company, then you can let them know, hey, if we get to this point inside of the company, if we reach this revenue, I'll be more than happy to give you that raise. So again, you're setting the what is that next level thing that can happen for them to be able to get that raise. So it's kind of the same thing, except you're not granting them a raise, but you're giving them what are the steps that are needed to get done to be able to get to that level. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what other tips do you have when it comes to giving your employee a raise. Now, if you still have it, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to run a business from home. And make sure to check out those 2 playlists right here and the newest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day of the small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!